Hello there folks, SeKo Starcraft here, bringing you a Masters League replay. We have got Happenz up against adrenAlin. I don't know either of these guys, but I wanted to find some high-level replays using some of the old/new map pool. I don't mind that as a logo. So I'm going to be going through a few different Oh, these guys are part of the same team. Awesome. Wanted to go through some of the replays that are out there. Not only just because a lot of the pro people aren't putting on a ton of replays from this map pool, just because a lot of the tournaments that are going on right now obviously aren't using this, funky new map pool. They're using the maps that have been used for a long time, just obviously because they've been training for it for quite a while. So we're going to be seeing a little bit more ladder action from lesser named people, but it doesn't mean it's going to be any less fun. This is a bit of a longer game, going to speed it up slightly here at the beginning, and obviously it's still really top talent people. But hopefully every now and then when I post these videos, people that I cast find me and send me some of their good replays later, so maybe Team Zelos here will be kind enough to fire me off stuff later. As a Zerg versus Terran on this map, it brings me back to the good old days. I used to think this map was very much Terran favored. I mean, the Zerg, you've got a decent, natural, bit of a run distance between that, but your third is not necessarily that convenient. It can get split off pretty good, a lot of areas to attack with. So I used to think Terran had the upper hand, particularly if you're playing mech on this map, was really good. We see adrenAlin in your scouting, sees the timing of the gas going down, so if he did, he's not making Reaper, but if he did, he would know what's going on. I think he's looking for overlords right now with this guy. Didn't spot this one over here, might be able to track it down, but he probably won't get the kill on it. We're seeing a lot more people skip the Reaper opening right now just because it's so well understood. The queens get out pretty fast, the rush distance on here is pretty long, and that Reaper doesn't really become that advantageous later on except for scouting. And it costs a lot when you could be teching up or putting that into economy. Hence on this side we have a high ground CC, which is just playing a bit safer, and that's probably because these guys play with each other a fair bit. And we can see this bit of Ling aggression here might have made it hard to keep that command center on the low ground. So just getting out a chunk of Marines here with a fast factory is going to make it easy enough to take this natural. And I encourage a lot of people that are, just newer in the lower leagues to do this, because there's a lot of cheeses you're going to find in the lower leagues. They'll cancel that command center on the lower ground. Whereas if you build on the high ground, which is pretty safe, it doesn't take that long to float it over. Hitting them injects. Speed finishing up here pretty soon. 4 Marines is actually pretty good. I like the pre-splitting and staggering there. A lot of the times if a Zerg player sends out a bunch of Lings early on, they're going to leave some right in front of your base just to be able to see when you're moving out. So if you can go out there and kill those Lings or force them to move back, you get yourself this, you make the Zerg player worried. Like, okay, well now I can't see what's happening. He could be coming right down the middle of the map with a bunch of Hellions or something like that. It's tough to say. Overlords are in position to come for a scout a little bit later on. We'll see if he actually gets to see anything though. Widowmine as well. Looks like he's going to push with Marines and Widowmines. And this is a unique style of push, something I don't see too much of. Another good chunk of Lings just hanging out on the map. Overlord spread is, well, it's all over the place, and I'm actually kind of surprised. You don't see too many Zerg players move a lot of their Overlords out, just because one Viking is very common now to go around and be able to start picking those off. Keeping on the supply, Zerg player got a little bit supply blocked there. Which is another problem of sending your overlords around everywhere, is you generally don't have a big supply gap, so if you lose 1 or 2 of those, you can actually be pretty crappy. Creep spread's got to get moving. This third base, once again, very tough to hold until the creep gets there. I mean, there isn't any roach tech out. Wow, 3 crawlers. You're not kidding about this defense. A little bit of indecision here from adrenAlin. But just this threat, once again, was enough to really commit to a lot of resources back here going into defenses. Baneling Nest going down, almost 400 minerals worth of just static defense happening. Drop gun hit on one side, attack hitting on the other. And this is before there's any upgrades. Like, there's no combat shields or stim. There's no +1. Nothing has been enhanced at all for this attack. Zerg player obviously doesn't have upgrades either, but does have out a lot of speedlings, which should be enough to clean up the drop at least. We'll see if it's enough to really take care of everything else. Somebody's telling me that there's a starport getting finished up over here. Who cares? Widowmine's getting a little bit out in front. They don't have speed yet, so he's got to be careful. They're getting really ahead of the Marines right now. Great positioning back here on these Marines. Very low surface area. Finally does get the wraparound. He looks like he's going to lose almost all of them. Not a great pickup there. Widow Mines need to burrow or get into position or something. The problem is these guys are stacked on top of each other. It makes more sense to spread them out. Oh, this could be good though. Ugh. And these Marines are essentially forfeit as well. Very fast around. And these Widow Mines are essentially forfeit as well. So not the best attack, I would say. Like, I mean, it was a cool thought. Oh, it looks like we went for a drop again. Forcing a lot of missed mining time here. If we look at the actual resources killed, you know, 8 workers. It's not terrible, but it was a pretty big commitment. And behind this, there really isn't any bunkers or defense here. These Widow Mines can get a lot of friendly damage in. That's so many Widow Mines though. Once again, very stacked up. I would just run into this if I was the Zerg player. Trigger the Widow Mines into the SCVs. But that's just me. That's my, like, spur of the moment, you know, F the world, I'm going after this kind of thought. Pulled a bunch of the SCVs back into the main. He's got to start rallying them back to the natural again. Yeah, there we go. Most of the infrastructure is finished up now. I actually don't mind these long building placements like this. If you do get overrun, sometimes being able to rally to one side, it gives you this less surface area for, you know, the Zerg to really wrap around on. If we look at the units, we can see the Zerg player not quite at the level they want yet, but those static defenses are getting repositioned somewhere good. Zergling's going to run around, take the watchtowers, very smart. And he's breaking down these rocks as he should. Upgrades, pretty much on par with each other. Why you tell me about the Overlord's replay? I don't care. Very high Widow Mine count kind of style. Now this is very interesting to me because it's very risky. Sometimes it works, like you'll just crush everything, and sometimes it really doesn't, and you just end up, you know, getting all of your stuff overrun really fast. It's not a huge investment, but if it doesn't work out, there's really nothing to fall back behind that. So this should be scouted. This Widow Mine, unfortunately, was rallied as well. So this great vision of the Zerg player should be able to see what's going on. Doesn't have his mutas out yet, though. Quite delayed, which is alright. It's pretty standard these days to have the delayed mutas. Creep spread, it's doing pretty good now. It's really on its way. Blammo. More stack defense in here as well. And this sometimes seems very newbie-ish, but I actually, like, if you're not super confident about being able to hold this stuff off, does keep the queen alive. Whoa. See, that drop was cleaned up pretty good. I think the other one was taken care of as well. 1 kill on that spore crawler, likely lose that medevac. Just peace of mind. I mean, yeah, it is a bit of an investment, and I made fun of it a bit earlier on. So many Widow Mines. Once again, very clumped up. Wanted to go for the offensive, but his Baneling speed is just about to finish up now. Let's see if these Widow Mines work out. This is a style I like playing as Mass Widow Mine, but I play in the crap leagues where people don't know how to... Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, Lord. Nice drag on that one, actually. Didn't take too much damage. He does need to get Widow Mine's, like, burrow speed, I believe. Ooh, that was a good Widow Mine shot there. Fortunately, most of the Banelings are gone right now, so that means he's not going to be able to get a really big bunch of SCV kills, unfortunately. So the attack wasn't terrible, but what really failed about it was that he just didn't get out any of his economy. And unfortunately, he's got his workers, well, I guess it's rallied back once again as well. Mutas, Banelings, 2-2 on the way, 2-2 for the Terran happening as well. So it's still pretty even at this point. I mean, there's a pretty good supply lead for the Terran player, but he hasn't really been able to get map presence. His drops kind of got shut down, and the creep spread is really, really good. Takes out that one random Widow Mine on the Watchtower, which just kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, the Widow Mine, when it's burrowed, doesn't trigger the Watchtower to activate. That'd be a little OP. I'd love to see some burrowed Banelings as well, actually. That would be pretty sick. Need to clean up that creep spread. Very effective. Not much in position right now to punish it. Banelings are just finishing up. So again, a ton of Widow Mines. Not a lot of mutas out yet. All the Widow Mines burrow right on top of each other. And this is where those, if you know this, the Zergling run-throughs are so great. Trigger a lot of those, then follow up with the Banelings. She triggered a lot of those Widow Mines. A lot of those have been spent now. Quite a bit of friendly fire damage. You see those medevacs are really beat up. Mutas really need to turn around and get these medevacs. They're so weak right now. Ooh, loses one of those mutas there. Keeping the medevac count low is very nice. Oh no, Widow Mines. Didn't get the best hits on that one as well. Great hold by the Zerg player. Looks like he wants to put the screws back on here. No medevacs once again to deal with this army or to heal it up. Fourth base is on the way for the Zerg players. Poop and creep on the fourth. Oh no, that's why you never leave your mutas in the middle of the map. Too fragile. Always pull them back. They're fast enough. There's not usually that many excuses to leave them idle in the middle of the map. Zerg player's having a tough time really getting ahead in supply here. Does have a macro hatch. Does have some larvae kicking around. Hive is on the way. Likely want to go into that Ultralisk play. Widow Mines are still pretty good against Ultralisks because they go right through the armor. Nice pickup over here. We'll be able to deny this base. A little risky to be building the command center on the spot. Poop and creep immediately. Very nice. You might as well build it somewhere where it's safe. Oh man. Muta play is so fragile against like somebody's going mass Widow Mines. I know because I love playing mass Widow Mines against mutas. They can't help but clump up. 3 Widow Mines together will just one-shot all your mutas. Your entire flock will just disappear. Wouldn't mind seeing some stack defense over here as well. I mean, the supply's really low once again. He's having a lot of trouble maxing out. He's got a lot of minerals, but not the gas. Does have a 5th base on the way. He's going to need to get a sick engagement against this force if he wants to stay in this game, as the Terran player is just about ready to max out. Zerg player looks like he's just willing to sack this base, which is really unfortunate. He's getting, well, he was getting attacked in the north at the same time. Pretty good hits, but you see adrenAlin still doing good in supply. This army's pretty beat up, but he canceled a base, still putting on the screws on another. So I really like the Terran's position right now. He's done a lot of damage to this creep as well. Pretty good shot there, but he will clean up all the Widow Mines. Nice control. Just gonna try to run back to his Widow Mines. Oh, that was a pretty good shot. As you see, the Zerg player just can't get his supply up. Terran player's doing great behind this. We see our first Ultralisk, but the gas is too short. This base has not gone up, and he lost this one. So he's not going to be able to get that gas bank that he really needs to get those Ultras on the way. Once again, he's just going to need a really, really sick engagement here. He's going to want to hold on. He's really trying to trigger those Widow Mines there, being very careful with his Banelings. He's dumping a lot of gas in those Banelings. 3-3 and Chitinous on the way. If he can get those out, he might be able to stabilize a bit. Still Widow Mines, cutting down all the different angles. This base looks like it's going to go down. Yes, it is. And he'll retreat out of there. Oh, bad movements out of the troops. Ran right into those Banelings. Some good friendly fire out of those Widow Mines. Most of this army is pretty cleaned up. The Zerg player has actually rallied a good amount of units out. Still doesn't have burrow speed from the looks of it. Man, them Widow Mines. Sometimes they just can't help but fire. The only saving grace for the Zerg player is that Terran's still just on 3, but is moving over to take his 4th. At the same time, Zerg player is just remaking this one. Still got these 2 Widow Mines randomly over here. Muta's a little bit out of position. Snipes a couple of Widow Mines there, it's nice. 3 Widow Mines at a time. Very like fantasy-esque if people watch fantasy stream. Once again, with this much investment though into the Widow Mines, I'm surprised the burrow speed hasn't been done. It changes the performance of Widow Mines unbelievably. 3-3 is just about to finish up. But this is essentially going to be like the last hurrah of the Zerg player here pretty fast. He can't deny the 4th. He can't get up his own 4th. As I said, adrenAlin, you have a tough time sometimes moving up to those other bases. Including these ones, they seem easy to take, but it's really spreading the Zerg player back and forth across the map. And these major choke points are just doing so well with all this Widow Mine. Oh, this Widow Mine play. Baneling's pretty good connections. But the Terran player is just throwing masses of units. He is using the Mutas to deny this 4th at the same time, but that means the Mutas aren't here to help clean up medevacs. Spore Crawler killed another medevac. Man, Fungal would be so killer right now. It's such a marine heavy army style. Another base going down. I'm surprised he doesn't really try to get that one. Muta's trying to pick off reinforcements, buy some time. He can't lose this base again. Terran player realized this. Looks like he's willing to sack most of this army to take out that. He does. I'd say it's worth it. I mean, he lost a ton of stuff. Sometimes that can be what turns a game around. Okay, hopefully he knows about those Widow Mines are there now. Don't throw away the... Oh, man. He's actually cleaned up almost all the Widow Mines. On this side, does see the command center going down. Such a low econ game now. Like, almost mined out, including the gas, mined out. This is like a little bit there, but gonna get mined out. Just super, super low eco. But now that this base is done, the Zerg player really needs to come over here and crush this. He can't let this base get up and get mining well. He's even long distance mining. Pole, I think that was his main CC. Looks like he lost another good stack of his mutas, unfortunately. Big Widow Mine spread. And then the mass mule bombs. Supplies are pretty even right now. Like, if he can take a good fight, he's trying to move that creep. If he could take a good fight on this base, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But the planetary is going to finish as well, and that's going to make it really tough. Ooh. Pretty fragile bio there. I wouldn't mind sending the mutas up to this side here while the army is down here at the bottom. There's only a couple of mutas left, like they're not going to change the dynamic of a fight. So just use them as a bit of harass. Zerg player, halfway done this next base. It's tough to say what he should do. He could make a run at the production, which isn't a terrible thing. If he can get on top of the production, sometimes he can change the game around. But the Zerg player really can't make up his mind where he wants to attack. This north mining successfully, south mining with a planetary. If he did go after the production, just smashed into it and got the ultras on top of everything, he might be able to buy himself time in this fight. But that's really hard to make that decision in the game, right? To say, I'm going to commit pretty much everything I've got left into this fight. And the Zerg player, unfortunately, has decided to play very defensively with this. Move his creep spread, protect his bases. Problem with that is the Terran player is mining a heck of a lot more. We look at the income tab. The Zerg player's hanging in there, but it needs to get good gas. Another drop happening. There's only 3 Marines as part of this. Another big move out of army. How many Widow Mines are in here now? Like 10, 12 Widow Mines, something like that. Yeah, it's about 12 Widow Mines. That's gonna be so hard to break into. Fungal would be sick. He's going for it. The Ultras do tank through everything, and he's on creep. The Zerg player is about to drop below like 100 supply. But he did take that fight. I'm not going to say super terribly. Another small hit squad is actually probably going to be able to get a lot of kills over here. Mutas are in position. If he attacked with them, he might be able to take care of it. Income-wise, you can see the Zerg player's just plummeted because he pulled a lot of his workers away. More Ultras in production. Still no burrow speed on those Widow Mines, just saying. He's got to get more Overseers out, get more detection on the map. This base is toast. Should be mining the gas. Well, actually, he's got a ton of gas bank. His gas bank is huge. Still has these mutas over here. There's not a lot there, but it could be, you know, hitting these drops a little bit better. Big push up the middle here. Lots of Marines in this. Pretty fragile. Looks like he did clean up that drop. Doesn't have any scans to kill the creep. He was doing a good job of killing the creep for a long time. The Widow Mine spread is real. Well, the Ultras are doing their job. They're crushing through this. If he had the minerals, getting Queens out as part of this, transfuse up the Ultralisks, might have a really good... might be viable, you know? You could be able to do something with that. He still knows there's a ton of mining going on over here with no... Well, the only anti-air is that one mine. If he turned this into an Overseer and brought his mutas over, he could at least be a bit of a bugger. Well, it looks like he's finally going to use them to harass up here. Only +1 on these mutas. Ugh. Random. Long distance mining over here as well. Mining healthy over here. Once again, not worried about his gas, but he might want to start doing it again soon. Yeah, I know that base is mining. Just these Ultras are so beat up. If he had the Queens here, he's getting more mutas out. So don't mind. He's going to be able to use that to put, you know, deny some drops. But if he could get these guys transfused up, he could take more of these big Widow Mine fights a bit more effectively. So sick. Sick city! Not a great fight point there for these Ultras. Very expensive. Doesn't want to just throw those away. If you've got Zerglings as part of this, sometimes it works better because you can get that surround. There's a couple of Queens in there hitting some transfuses. Man. Just so open. 49 workers. Yeah, that's 49 workers going on in there. Just some Zerglings to run by, get some damage in would be really nice. This base is kind of pointless. It's got some gas in it, which will help later. Terran players maxed out again. Zerg players not been able to get up there. With this amount of bio, and this time a lot of Marauders in here, with so many Widow Mines, I don't think the Ultras are going to be able to tank through it again. Cleaning up the creep. He's missing the active tumors in doing this, though. This creep's been over here like the whole game. Here comes the big fight. It's on creep, Widow Mine, city. Happenz get a life. That's hilarious. Good luck, have fun. Yeah, without anything to lock this down, it's just not going to pan out for him, unfortunately. He is making this army stim like the Dickens, though. Those rocks are close. Look how red this army is. Nice. Koopa kill. There's the GG. Fun little game. I haven't seen too many people go this mass Widowmine style, but Alkaline Wastes for the good old times.